everyone. Hello again, and welcome to the Strategic Roadmap Part 3. So, this is really just a short section, and what I want to do is to just explain to you a couple things about the roadmap that might be helpful. The first is that it is always a good idea to have a scribe. So, what the scribe is a person who updates the roadmap while you're in your strategic meeting, going through and exploring all the things that you need to do and making your list. So it allows everybody to have a conversation during the meeting. But during the meeting, what the scribe does is they pick up little things that people say that needs to be acted on. So I always say that in Jamaica we have an execution deficit, and the strategic roadmap would help anyone to overcome this deficit, because we talk a lot in Jamaica. We know all the right things to do and say, but when it's all said and done, we don't actually get it done. So somebody needs to be listening to the language and listening out for what needs to be done. So little things like somebody says we need to have a survey. So, okay, it might be obvious that we need to do a survey on what are the products that are out there, or the products that are not out there that we could develop in this case. But then the scribe would be the person with the sixth sense to say, we need to get the survey tool. So you would put in the strategic roadmap, get SurveyMonkey or some other tool as an action item. So there are a number of things. Registering the company is another one of them. So the scribe is really the person who is thinking outside of all that's said, so they can update the roadmap with the things that need to be done, and probably even allocating timelines which they can firm up with the group afterwards. So you may put it down, and you don't want to disturb the flow of the conversation to put which month it needs to be done, but that could be done at the end of the meeting or at ever so often in the meeting. So you do need a scribe that is continually updating that spreadsheet. And it should not necessarily be the owner. You need at least one person in your organization who has those skills or who needs to practice those skills. The second thing I wanted to say about the roadmap is that the roadmap is a living document. What do I mean by that? It's not static. It doesn't end. You can't say, well, I've finished my roadmap. It's a continuous process of updating. So things you miss in your meeting to develop it can come afterwards as you go along, and you say, aha, it would be a good idea if we were to, and I'll just use this as an example, to have a finance committee, because I know at least one of our clients have done that before, where they found that the organization didn't have enough talent in finance. So what they did was they assigned 2 or 3 people, maybe 1 or 2 from the advisory committee, and they got someone else, maybe a friend or a partner or a husband who actually is good in finance. So they would have finance committee meetings. So, or they could have, well, in this case, the whole project is about developing 6 new products. So maybe you may not have a committee for product development, or you might develop a committee. So as you go along, you can add your new and good ideas. You'll find that when you're going to bed at night, you have your strategic roadmap clear in your head. Visualize it. Go through the process. Go through month by month how your plans are coming together. And when you wake up in the morning, you're going to have a brand new idea because you went to bed with it in your mind. So continuously update your roadmap. Change, add some new things. And the third thing, which at this point is probably the most important thing, is that you will use this roadmap to update your budget. So as we had said, we're using this. Probably won't cost you any money. You might say this might cost you to bring in a trainer. The software might just have a cost to it. So what you're doing is you're now using those items on your roadmap that have cost to update your financial budget. And we're going to have a training just like this one on how to plan and how to write your budget. So besides these activities that have cost, your budget will also your budget might also include some capital items. And if you notice, I just updated my strategic roadmap. While I was doing this training, it occurred to me that we didn't add in the strategic roadmap to decide what capex item we need. By capital expense items, what I mean is what are the equipment or those items that you need to purchase for your business. Like you want to buy a piece of machine, you need to buy a delivery truck. Those are capex items. It's called capex because it's a capital expense. So you don't use equipment, motor vehicle as an expense in your business. They are not a part of your income statement. We use them in your cash flow. Although they're not an expense, you're going to have to purchase them out of the money in the business. So we put them underneath the expenses. So it's a capital expense. So this is going to be discussed some more when we do the training on budgets. But before we do that, we have to know what your skills are going to be like in Excel. So for those of you who need more experience using Excel, then we will also do a training on Excel before we go to the budget. So this is also using an Excel spreadsheet or a worksheet, as some of you may refer to it as. So I use worksheets for almost everything I do: lists, invitation lists. A lot of people like to use Word, but Word lacks some features that a worksheet can give you. So, having said that, continue to fill out your strategic roadmap and let's get going. Thank you all. I hope this has been helpful.